Israel's push into southern Gaza is intensifying today. The Israeli military is ordering Palestinians in the territory's second biggest city, Khan Younis, to evacuate to a strip of land on the Mediterranean coast, further squeezing the humanitarian system already on the brink of collapse. The ground and air offensive in Khan Younis is overwhelming the local hospital system, with mass casualties again being reported tonight. It remains unclear just how many people lie buried under the rubble. At a top-level forum today, mediators say they are not going to give up on their efforts to achieve another temporary truce.
Right now, maybe the openings are narrower than where we were before the last pause. Yet there are still an opening. We are still continuing our talks. We are still continuing our efforts. We are hoping to go back to the agreement that we have brokered a couple of weeks ago.
For all of today's latest developments, let's turn to journalist Iris Mackler in Jerusalem.
I can tell you that it is fierce fighting still in the three main points in the north of the Gaza Strip, in Shaja'iyah and Jabalia, and in the south, of course, in Khan Younis. And what we have heard from both sides confirm that it's fierce fighting. You can see that if you watch the Israeli casualty figures, which are rising every day. And there's something like 100 Israeli soldiers, or almost 100 Israeli soldiers, who've died in this conflict so far. We don't have the Hamas figures. They don't release them separately. Israel says that it's killed around 7,000 Hamas fighters. I can't confirm that, of course, but if it's true, that would be, it was estimated there were 30,000 Hamas fighters at the start of this conflict, so that would be less than a quarter of the total Hamas fighting force.
Okay, so things are really moving quite rapidly in Gaza. And right from the beginning, Iris, this has had a ripple effect internationally. Let's go next door to Egypt, where the national presidential elections start today. They'll go through Tuesday. What impact is the fighting in Gaza having on that election?
It does have an impact. You know, there's two main issues. One are their internal economic concerns, and the other is actually the fighting in Gaza. And it works on two levels. First of all, there's great sympathy for the plight of people in Gaza on the Egyptian street. And at the same time, the Egyptian leadership doesn't want a mass displacement of Palestinians from Gaza reaching its territory, and certainly not, let's say, 1.8 million who are now currently in the south of the Gaza Strip. And we've heard this from the beginning from Egyptian officials. They are very concerned at the thought that if there is this mass displacement, then those people would simply move into Gaza, into Sinai, or further into Egypt, remain there and bring the whole conflict into Egypt. And we've heard of Egyptian officials say, we don't want this conflict inside our territory, where they will be fighting with Israel, but fighting here, and Egypt will be paying the price. So we've heard that that's been put openly, frequently, and we've heard within the past 48 hours that they again said, they reiterated this both to Israel and to Washington ahead of what they fear will be attacks after Khan Younis in Rafah. Rafah, as you know, is the border crossing with Egypt. They've been shoring up their side of that border crossing and reiterating that they will not open it to displaced Palestinians.
Iris Mackler reporting from Jerusalem.